Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I have the incredible Dr. Tiffany Smith with us today, and we are going to dive into a very hot topic. This is a topic that has gotten so much more airtime and airplay, really, probably over the last 4 years. It's become really common for us to start using terminology like mental health and mental wellness. And one of the things that Dr. Tiffany Smith and I are going to dive into, most of us are entrepreneurs and we're leaders and we're leading a lot of people, whether it's through our business or we're leading people in our communities or we're leading people in our homes. There's just a lot of leadership and responsibilities and a lot of risk that many of us are taking on a daily basis. It can take its toll. And one day we wake up and realize, like, what body am I in? What mind is this? What has happened? Am I losing it? Am I going crazy? But all I know is I can't keep going like this. And I think for many of us, we have a lot of unanswered questions, especially when we go down the route of traditional medicine. It's like, oh, you're fine. Just take this pill. And that really is the answer that a lot of us are getting. So I know, I'm middle age. I started going through a lot of hormonal changes. I know a lot of my colleagues and friends. This is something that until pretty recently, we were not talking about out loud. We just were very
Mhm.
silently going through this kind of experience, not knowing why and not finding answers and really beating ourselves up about it. So I'm so excited that you're here, Dr. Tiffany. So I'm going to turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about your history, your background. I know you have a whole story around why you even started your practice. So I would love for you to share that. And then we'll dive into this conversation.
All right. Well, you just kicked it off with so many points just to jump in from the get-go. But my name is Dr. Tiffany M. Smith. I'm out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am an integrative and functional psychiatric nurse practitioner. So my career journey started as a nurse. I advanced my education as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. And then I further advanced that to being more integrative and functional, which means I believe in the whole person and getting to the root cause and not the band-aid approach with medication. I like to empower people so that you can do things for yourself before you need me. There's so much you can do and you have so much power. And so I'm hoping today to really give information that can help you level up as much as possible to get to your optimum. And if you're still struggling, then reach out for help so that you can get the support you need so you can do and continue the awesome work that you have been destined to do. My journey began with my husband, who is a combat veteran, who was struggling with pain and discomfort, and then all that comes with having pain. And we were leaning into the healthcare system, but weren't finding the answers, just the quick fixes, just the band-aids, and they weren't improving our quality of life. So after a decade or more in, we look back and we're no better than before, even worse. So he at one point just said, forget it, no more of this Western medicine. We need to do something else. So my husband is at the point where he is basically bedbound from pain, disengaged from a lot of the activities. I'm having to do a lot of things in our lives by myself. So together we're trying to figure out what to do. And I'm not one also that grew up with sickness. Everybody, all of my family lives through 100. So it wasn't until I was 17 that I experienced my first healthcare issue, which made me change my profession from electrical engineering into nursing. And so now I knew that I don't know if I would take a pill if I got sick. And now here he is dealing with issues. And now he says no more. So now it's time to really find the answer to wellness. Now it's really trying to understand, what do we do? So the first lesson there was understanding the role that our healthcare system plays. We have an excellent healthcare system, but it's misleading because it's called healthcare. So you think that everything that's pertaining to your health you get from the healthcare system, but that's not the case. When you are sick and injured, and need that acute right now, help me live care, our healthcare system is phenomenal. But the prevention aspect is where it's lacking. Now, think back in the day, though, back in the 90s, we're talking, a lot of us have been around in the 90s, and healthcare was built in. Wellness, not healthcare, but wellness was built in. we would come home and take off our school clothes and put on our play clothes and be outside in nature. We had our diaries that we tried to keep from our little brothers and our parents from reading. It had the little lock on it. Sundays, people were off, people didn't work, and we could all have community and be together. So our wellness was actually built in.
Mm.
We had all of the things we needed, people and love and support. And now our families are scattered all across the world. We have social media and things like that, and all of this distraction. And we lose a lot of what was already built in. So we're trying to create our system of wellness. We're trying to build in the boundaries that were in place in the past, and it gets confusing and we
Mm.
get lost. And it's so much information and so many things we can do as business owners. You don't ever want to stop because you can just do this one thing and this will make this great thing happen. But we need those boundaries and protection from ourselves. And that's the thing that we're missing. And so with my husband, we took the journey. We started, we found aromatherapy. I got into the functional medicine training, getting to the root cause. We made lifestyle changes. And we just kept pushing through. And then I looked into my practice and I'm like, they need what we're doing over here. And that's when I created Aroma Functional Nutrition Psychiatry, which it's an odd name because those are the modalities that help me with my husband, but it's also supposed to make you say, something's different here.
Mm.
And I want people to find those, that trifecta or what octagon or whatever the components are that you need to make you be the best you. And so that's kind of what our name symbolizes. Just, it's not all a pill. It's not just one thing. It's about you and what makes you happy.
I
I
love
think
that.
that's it.
Now,
And then the short.
I love it. I love it. One question, just so our listeners are really clear on this. Do you work with people only in person, or is it also telehealth as well?
So I primarily am virtual.
Okay,
And
perfect.
I love virtual. Location freedom is my mental wellness and well-being.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. For so many of us. So, okay. I love how you got your start in this. It was really based off a need. And it's so interesting. I was born in 1982. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember the 90s. I really grew up in the 90s. I don't so much remember the 80s, but I really do remember the 90s. And as you were talking, especially about the family piece and Sundays, I remember on Sundays, even after the 90s, when I was still living, I was married at the time in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, and I still lived close to my parents. What did we do every Sunday? You would get the family together for lunch.
That's right.
And before my grandparents passed away, we would go to their house for lunch. But I always remember like Sunday lunch was such a built-in thing. And I remember, my parents would come home from work. And what was the first thing they did? They changed their clothes. They would change their clothes. And then you're kind of transitioning into like mom and dad and family mode instead of work mode. And we did the
Right.
same thing as kids. So you're the first, I've never heard anybody talk about it where wellness was really built in at that time, and times
Mm-hmm.
have really changed. So I'm curious, when people come to you, what are some of the issues or symptoms that people are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing when they come to you?
The number one thing is navigating life navigation. They get to a point and they've done everything they can do and they get stuck. They hit a wall. A lot of times I see like my approaching 30-year-olds, they're like frustrated that they haven't reached the goals that they had set for themselves. And so it's just that life keeps hitting and bombarding, and you get all of these expectations from social media and television, and things just aren't the way you thought they were, or you're not getting there. And so a lot of times I'm spending some time just talking and have a conversation and actively listening to people and where they are and what their desires are and helping them get back to themselves.
Mm.
So the thing is this, they'll come thinking that they're bipolar and major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. But the reality is, life just has its foot on your neck and you don't
Mm.
know what to do to get from under it. And that's
Mm.
the number one thing. And that's why I say there's a lot of things that you can do, and just bringing the awareness that this is a possibility of what's going on that's making you feel so out of yourself can be a pivot and a change or a shift point in people's lives. That's the number one thing, is life navigation.
Mm, yeah. And everybody to some degree at every age really
Right.
does struggle with that because life isn't going to stop happening.
Mm-mm.
So many of our listeners are entrepreneurs. You're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and we work really, really hard. It's also a
Mm-hmm.
very risky place to exist because it is all up to you. I mean, I think it's less risky than like going and working for somebody who could just say like, peace out, you're gone tomorrow.
Right. Right.
But there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of heavy weight. And even, I mean, I even see entrepreneurs that are making tens of millions of dollars a year, and it's almost heavier for them, even though they have access to all the money in the world, so to speak. But there's just so much stress. And one of the things that I started noticing in the online space a few years ago is that people were shutting down their businesses, or they were going on very long sabbaticals for 4 to 6 months. And it was to kind of quote unquote get their life back. And,
Right.
stress, burnout, thyroid issues, hormone
Mm-hmm.
imbalances, adrenal fatigue, with foggy brain, lack of clarity, all of those things. So those
Mm-hmm.
are the really common symptoms that I hear from a lot of entrepreneurs. So if someone is experiencing that whole list of symptoms, like, can you kind of give us some tools that we could be using,
Yeah.
or supplements, or how do you start
Where you
diminishing
begin,
some of
right?
those symptoms? Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. First things first, the objective is to be able to listen to your body, listen to you. What are your distractions? What is yelling at you and keeping you not focused on you? Okay. What is it that is tugging on you? What is it that's more important than you? So let's say this: you're the business owner, you are number one. Without you, there isn't any of this. So you have to be first on your schedule. It's a priority. It's a must. It has to be. Just as if you're a parent, just as if the airplane was going down, you put your oxygen on first. So how do you put yourself on first? First, where's all of your time going? Where are you at in your schedule? Are you getting up and taking some time to meditate, to breathe, to think, to do something that you enjoy? Where are all the things that you enjoy doing? Are they now diminished? You forgot them? I forgot I used to read. I forgot I played the flute. And I had to remember who I was and bring those things back into my life. So, number one is getting back to you. Now, you said 4 to 6 months people take a sabbatical. You got to find little bits and pieces in every day so that you don't get burnt out and turn away. And that's why you look at your calendar. I would say, just to start right now at this very minute, the next time you go to the bathroom, take a few extra minutes, listen to your favorite song that just revives you, that makes you happy, or something like that. Because when you got to go to the bathroom, you're by yourself. It's a time just you. Extend the time a little bit. Take instead of 2 minutes, take 5 minutes, and just find ways that you can reboot quickly. So listen to your favorite song, just rock out for a minute, whatever it is. Even if it's a comedy clip, you watch the first few minutes of a TV show that makes you laugh, but do something like that. Increase the things that make you happy. Number two, whatever that is, do it more. I like to watch In Living Color. It is
Oh,
silly,
yeah.
right? It's silly, but it takes off the edge of all of the rough stuff in life. It's silly. I watch Martin. Silly. Sometimes I need some of those things to just break it up and get me to a different place. I watch maybe some stand-up comedy. Inspiration, I like to watch America's Got Talent and So You Think You Can Dance. And those things are inspiring to me, to see people achieving their goals. Now, the overwhelmed feeling, right? We got access to AI and we can make things quicker and better and faster and stronger, but it's overwhelming. So it's about trusting yourself, knowing that you will get done the things that need to be done in the time frame that they need to be done. And the people that need it will be there when it's complete. So we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Let's hurry up and get this done, have this so people get blah, 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 blah. Hold on. Where are you? Let me take some time and embrace and embody what I'm doing so that it's the best product. Take the pressure, take the load off of you. Okay. Any feedback on some of those tips?
Oh, I think that I love these tips. And you were saying you stopped playing the flute. I used to be a
Yeah.
tennis player, and about
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's been 5 months now. I think it's been about 5 months, maybe six. I got back into tennis and
Yeah.
found I hadn't played in 16 years, and I was
See?
really good. I was really
Mm-hmm.
good. And for so many years, I've been saying I want to get back into tennis. I want to get back into tennis because part of that is going back to what you really enjoyed in childhood or the things
Mm-hmm.
that really lit you up when you were younger. And I know I love to be physically active, and I
Mm-hmm.
sit in this chair almost all day. I work
See?
out in the morning, but
Right.
a lot of us who are working online, we're running online businesses, we are at a desk, at a chair, on Zoom, 8 hours a day. And you
Mm-hmm.
start to become very, very sedentary. And I think
Right.
that takes its toll as well. I mean, just sitting
It
all day is
does.
not healthy.
Right.
So, it's so interesting. My husband is a high performance coach and a hypnotherapist. And I used to bring him into my business a lot, and he would do the mindset coaching. And one of the questions he would ask our clients is, what is your hobby outside of your business?
Right.
And we would get one of two responses. Either we would get silence and kind of this confused look, like, what do you mean hobby? I don't have time for a hobby.
Right.
The second response is, my business is my hobby because I love my business so much. I love working so much. That's all I want to do. So that's all I do all weekend long. And we're like, but wait, neither one of these are a hobby, And I think we
Right.
forget that we're human beings, not human
Yes.
machines. So I love your suggestions so far.
Yes. I love that. We're not human machines. So we
Mhm.
have to, so you know how when you meet someone in a dating situation and you're always thinking of that person and wanting to make that person feel good and you want to do surprises and all of that. I encourage every entrepreneur to do that for themselves. Take some time and love yourself, date yourself, make sure that you are treating yourself. If you did well today, if you had a sale or whatever your KPIs are, treat yourself. Treat yourself to an extra 30 minutes playing tennis because it enlightens you and makes you happy. Playing the flute. If you want to get some ice cream as a treat. I mean, but really love yourself. And that can start right now and you get to define what that means. So
Mhm.
every minute of every day we're making decisions, we're making choices. And what I'm saying is it's time to choose you more than you have in the past. It's
Mhm.
time to really choose you,
Mhm.
whatever that means for you. You can immediately make a shift and a change in your life at this minute. You don't have to wait for an appointment. You don't have to wait for Sunday. Right now, today, you say, you know what? I got to go use the bathroom and I'm taking 10 minutes.
There you go. Men do that really well. They take their cell
Hmm.
phones in there and they stay there forever because they're doing exactly what you're saying. Sometimes I
Uh-huh.
think men actually do it better than women do it, you
Yes,
know?
that is an excellent point. I love that. I love taking the opposite sex or just different people, but the opposite sex in particular that have different ways of doing things. And I love that I mentioned my husband, and he helps bring more balance. He helps stop the judgment. He really helps to make things, it's like, you know what? You are having so much fun. I'm coming to play with you,
Yes.
and it balances things out. And yes, you are so correct. As women, we're very serious. We take on the business. We're very focused, and and I'm just saying generally, not to offend anyone. And the boys like to play, and so we can balance each other so well. So it's good to have that community and network of people that you trust and that can help be that balancer for you, that can help call you out on things and help you be the best you can be. So community, when you're looking
Mhm.
at the people you're around, are they building you up, loving you and supporting you, or are they tearing you down? Get rid of those things that no longer serve you.
Mhm.
Even in your business, if it's software, if it's employees, get the right people on the bus, wrong people off the bus, so
Mhm.
that you are streamlined. It's easy to have the shiny item syndrome with an online business because it's everything looks better than what you have.
Yes.
Stay focused.
Yes.
Stay focused so that you can continue to put yourself first. These are the distractions. These are all
Mhm.
these things. So get rid of things that no longer serve you. Simplify your life and business. Plan out. You get a project, you plan it out. Make sure you plan yourself out with that. Listen to your body. What is your body saying? Drink more water. Get up every 5 to 10 minutes every hour from sitting. Build in your schedule 10 minutes in between each appointment so they're not back to back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Oh,
And then
like my day today, Dr. Tiffany. My day today, my friend, is back to back. 10 o'clock,
yes.
11 o'clock. I think I had 1:45, 30-minute break, but back to back to back. And this is rare for me, but all the way until 8 o'clock today, which
Wow.
is once in a blue moon, I have that. But 10 a.m. to 8 o'clock, almost no breaks. And I was looking this morning and I was like, when am I going to eat? Like, when am I going to refuel my body? And
Right.
that's something else, too, that I'm glad that you just said that because a lot of people, again, it's like this entrepreneurial spirit that I can't
Mm-hmm.
slow down. I can't take a moment to myself. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get everything in. And I think many of us are very susceptible to just scheduling things every hour on the hour for 8 to 10
Right.
hours. And then you're not drinking water. You're not getting
Right.
up to go to the bathroom. You're skipping meals. And then by the time you get to the end of the day or before the end of the day, you can't see straight, foggy brain, lack of
Right.
clarity. You're irritated. You're moody. You're tired. You don't want anybody to
Mm-hmm.
touch you or talk to you when you get out of the office and you
Exactly.
go into the family room. And that's a problem. That is
Yep.
so unhealthy. So
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy to do that. And I didn't start out as an entrepreneur. I started out as a high school teacher. But
Okay.
and teachers experience this. If there's anybody who's listening who's a teacher. But I think sometimes when we're in a full-time job as well, then we become an entrepreneur. My full-time job trained me to operate that way because you couldn't leave your
Mm-hmm.
classroom to go to the bathroom. If you
Right.
did, it was on the other side of the school. You couldn't leave your
Mm-hmm.
kids that many times a day. You would
Uh-huh.
learn how to basically not eat your lunch because you're helping kids. Then by the time the bell rings at 3 o'clock, you're dead. Like you're literally dead
Mm-hmm.
because you haven't taken care of yourself. You get home, you take care of the kids, and then all you want to do is eat a whole bag of chips or Oreos because
Right.
that's how okay, well, I'm just going to go eat that because I don't want to do anything but veg out on food. And we recreate that same thing in entrepreneurship, but we get into entrepreneurship in the name of freedom. But then we
Right.
have the same habits and behaviors, right? I bet
Exactly.
you see that a lot.
Right. And the important thing is number one, calling it out, just like you did. That awareness. If you say, oh my gosh, I am not drinking water, I'm not using the bathroom, I am doing these things, then what's the next thing? Action. Well, now I'm going to keep account of things. So tracking is the next tip. Keeping up with yourself. How frequently are you getting up? Are you drinking water? Are you moving? And then start to shift the needle a little bit more every single day to make sure that you stay on track. Remember, you are the most important person in your business. You have to take care of you or what? So the motivation, if you don't have the motivation within yourself to do these things, think about all of the mission of the company, the mission of why you're doing what you're doing, and then pull back so you can take care of yourself. You'll be able to do more by taking care of yourself than neglecting yourself and just pushing through.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So one of my favorite topics to talk about is what we put in our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's food, and we all know about the food source nowadays, I think that's making us sick. I've felt that for a really long time. So
Mm-hmm.
what we're putting in our bodies for fuel, and then also my husband and I are big supplement takers.
Mm-hmm.
I always joke we could open up a supplement shop in our house because we have so many. My husband takes way more than I take. He's who got me into taking supplements when I was pregnant, 14, now 15 years ago. So I'd
Yeah.
love to hear your take on, and I know like you know, have supplements that you share with people as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I'd love to hear your take on what we're putting in our bodies from a food perspective and also from a supplementation perspective. And I know, again, like I've been talking to a couple of women lately, and they're like, I feel, I'm having all these symptoms that we have when we get to a certain age, and I need to go like get all my blood work done and like figure out what's going on and see what they tell me I need to take. So can you just kind of unpack what we're putting in our bodies for a bit? Because that has a big impact.
Well, let me shift it just a little bit. I think that what's important is that we know our bodies and how our bodies take in the nutrition and supplementation that we take in, because we all process it differently. So you can get someone that's eating well and exercising well and have all these lifestyle things in place, but still has various symptoms. And that's because it's not based on individual biochemistry. So I now do a DNA test to help me know what works best for you. Because I can tell you all of the wonderful things that are great, that are healthy and works for most people, but maybe you don't process vitamin D that well. Maybe you can't tolerate certain fats in foods. Maybe. And I think that's the missing piece in
Hmm.
our health and wellness journey is us, our own individuality. We'll follow this trend, we'll follow those resources, this information, that information, but we're never saying this is how I work and what works best for me. So when it comes to food and supplementation, it's all based on you. So I have partnered with a company that gives me that data, and it is also now covered through insurance so that more people can get this type of a DNA testing to understand exactly how their body works. It's just amazing. So then it takes out the guesswork. So you may say, oh, I'm so tired. I need some B12 shots. I need this, I need that. But it's all an assumption. We're just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Right.
Do a DNA test. And that's where functional medicine comes into play, because it identifies the dysfunction within the body. And now you know how to move in your life.
Hmm.
So, when it comes, so when you talk about food and supplementation, I'd be saying just the general same things, but to get
Yes.
specific, I want to know what your body is built to do, how your body is designed. So then we create a nutritional plan for you.
Okay. That makes so much sense. So where do people go for that? What questions should they be asking to make sure that's actually happening if they go to, a lot of people do go to their doctor. They go to their general practitioner, which is
Mm-hmm.
not always the best place to go because I think oftentimes there are some blanket general prescriptions that are just given like, oh, just go do this or go take this. It's what you need.
Right.
Obviously so what are people looking for? What questions should they be asking and who should they be going to see to find these things out?
Yeah, I think that functional medicine providers, naturopathic doctors, also those that use the term integrative are good type of providers to look for, because they're thinking outside of the box. Their practice is outside of just what the healthcare system teaches. And again, remember, the healthcare system isn't designed, they'll tell you you need to eat better, you need to lose some weight, but they're not designed to give you the tools to make that happen. So you have to figure the rest out after you leave. But your prescription is lose weight, decrease the salt, blah, blah, blah. But these practitioners are ones that can take the needle further, because we don't stop with a diagnosis. That's the beginning. And then we can take those symptoms and then really understand, okay, you have a gene snip here, you need this or that, you're deficient here, blah, 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 and go from there. A lot of times in mental health, it seems like you have depression, anxiety, ADHD. Like I had a guy come to me who said, I have ADHD. My dad just got diagnosed with ADHD. I can't sleep. I'm restless. I can't complete tasks. I'm ready to take medication. Then I did my functional testing and found out his issue wasn't mental. He had issues in his gut
Mm.
that gave the symptoms that appeared to be ADHD. So in doing that, it saved him having to spend a lifetime on Adderall and other stimulants, increasing the dose, decreasing the dose, taking additional medications for the side effects of that. So functional providers, integrative providers, naturopaths, they can think outside of that box for
Hmm.
you and help you pull some things together that no one else will. And that's what makes them awesome sauce. And
Okay,
us
I
awesome
love
sauce.
that. Love it. Okay, so if someone was going to reach out to you, which let's make
Mhm.
sure we share how they can do that. Can you walk us through somebody reaches out to you, they're having symptoms that they're having. What is kind of walk us through step by step what that process looks like? They reach out to you, they book, what's the first thing you do, what's next, what's third, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So I really focus on creating customized, personalized treatment plans, based on like what I said. Of course, there's a base knowledge that everyone needs to know, but I like to start with the discovery call. I like to take 15 minutes to understand a little bit more about what your goals are, what you're struggling with, what you've tried, because it's important that someone is willing and able to make lifestyle changes and necessary changes to get to that better health. Um, and so it's important to know that the motivation is there, that the drive is there, that and the ability is there, because we want, we in a society where you take a pill and then it's better. And you have these easy routes. But to really get to yourself and understand yourself, it takes some work and time. It's going to take time to track how you're feeling, what you're eating, what you're doing. It takes time to shift and say, you know what? I'm going to move from regular butter to ghee. I'm going to get more organic vegetables. I'm going to do this. I'm going to the, it takes time and mental shift. And so that ability may be like if your life is pressing on you and you're like, I just can't think right now, it might not be a good time. But first it starts with the discovery call. Where are you at? And I try to meet people wherever they are in that whole list of what I just shared, so it can vary. It may just start with the DNA test, and then I can read those results. And then we focus on a couple of things, and it kind of make it a la carte kind of relationship. You focus on a couple of things, you can come back, and then we work on something else. Or it can be a full-blown wellness program with coaching, with an educational curriculum, including functional tests, all comprehensive, and we just focus on getting you where you need to be. It may be mental health focused. And in the mental health focus, we bring in the wellness, but we're really going to look at the whole person and focus on that mental health well-being, what's triggering that and shifting the mind. And it depends on them how much they want to get into the full wellness. But everything is connected. So I'm always treating the whole person. We're always getting to the root cause. Medication is only as necessary. But the discovery call is where it starts. And then we together create the plan based
Mm.
on what's of, what's going to work for you. Because it's no good if I'm just barking at you what you should do. What is it that you're willing to do? So for you, tennis is a part of your treatment plan.
Mm.
That's your jam. So we're going to be keeping track of how often you play tennis. We're going to keep track of how you're fueling your body, how you're resting, all of that. So the discovery call is the big thing. So the discovery call is open, to anyone. I can have a consultation with anyone across the world. And then also the DNA test is open to anyone across the world because I have a network of providers, even if I'm not in the area, that could still do the test. And then we can go from there. So I can be a one-stop funnel on a DNA test to help you learn more about you. Then you can take those results to someone locally in your area and say, this is what I know about me. Now I need the support to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Individualized, customized plan. That's what people are looking for nowadays. They want this alternative game plan for their own lives. And sometimes
Yeah.
I think you know, sometimes I think we're spending so many months or years slowly getting to a point where the way we feel, we now think it's normal, especially as we're
Mm-hmm.
looking at, oh, like I'm 40, or oh, well, now I'm 50 and this is just the way it's supposed to be. And I think oftentimes that's what
Mm-hmm.
like your mom tells you or your grandma tells you or
Right.
the medical world tells you, like, well, this is just how it is. Get ready when
Yep.
you're that age. And, if you're someone listening to this and you just know you do not feel energized, you don't feel full
Yeah.
of vitality. You're not, you're groggy when you wake up in the morning out of bed, or your hair is falling out, or
Mm-hmm.
you've got eczema on your skin, or your joints are hurting really bad, or it takes you 3 hours to really like wake up, or you're
Right.
nagging on your husband, or you're yelling at your kids all the time. Those are all little signals. I've experienced every single one of those, but those are all little signals that are not actually normal. Like, you don't actually have to go through life feeling that way.
No,
It can be so much better. So
I
my
agree.
husband and I love naturopaths and functional medicine doctors, and we've always gone down that path. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening to this and you want answers, please reach out to Tiffany. Tiffany, how do we find you? Where do people go to book a call with you?
Go to wellness.vegas. Wellness.vegas. That is one place. And then I also have an app called Mental Wellness Unlocked. Download that app as well. And then I'm going to be premiering a community that'll probably be available by the time this airs. Free to be you nation. Um, I want to help people not have to need me. So giving them certain tips and support and a community, in addition to those that do need me, helping them with understanding themselves and being health independent, because now
Mm,
they have this knowledge about themselves. And when life happens, they know how to shift and maneuver life because they understand themselves. And once you understand yourself, then you're not going to fall for every trend and fad that comes your way. You'll know how to exercise for your body, sleep for your body. You understand your cardiovascular health, how you take in nutrition, learning about you. So know that it is possible. Whatever you can vision for yourself, whatever you want your life to look like, if you can conceive that thought, you can have that thing. Okay? It is possible. Look at your life, look at where you want to be, and start focusing on getting there. Nothing else. Get there.
I love it, Dr. Tiffany. That was incredible. Well, thank you so much for being here and pouring into us and just making our day a little brighter. I love the work that
Yes.
you do.
You
So
choose
we've got,
choose to be happy, choose to be happy, choose to be healthy, choose to love, choose to give, choose it. Don't let things choose you. Take control. You
yes,
have control. Choose it. You got this. Live the best
amazing.
life.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We've got all of Dr. Tiffany's information in the show notes. So if you are seeking some answers, please click those links and go seek her out and have that 15-minute discovery session. Thank you, Dr. Tiffany. And until next time, remember to design a business and life that is built to last.
Yes.